Hello. So I haven't done any Atkins videos for a while, talking about the Atkins diet, of course. So I thought I'd do a bit of an update for you. Look, I'll be honest, I think it was about 2 years ago the last time I tried the Atkins diet, and yeah, it's been quite an interesting period since then. But anyway, I'll give you a little bit of history of how this has all come about, and why I'm talking to you about the Atkins diet. So back in 2008, so that's like 9 years ago now, I had a I had a change in my job circumstances, and yeah, I moved to a new town and started a new life, basically, all before kids. And I was really, I threw myself at my work, and because of that, my eating habits went out the window. My exercise levels just became non-existent, and what ended up happening was I put on a few kilos. So I started at 84 kilos, I think was my base when I moved in 2008. So I started at 84 kilos. Then I went to so during this period at the start of 2008, in a couple of months I went up to 95, and that's the heaviest I've ever been, 95 kilos so far, and hopefully forever. But so 95 kilos is what I got up to. Yeah, it was not a good period in my life in terms of health, and I distinctly remember getting puffed walking upstairs, and just having really crappy diet, just eating whatever I could, still going to meetings and things, and just parking myself next to the catering, and yeah, so eating a lot and not really caring about my health too much at that point. So obviously when I stepped on the scales and I saw 95, that was a bit scary. So I decided I'm going to try to lose the weight and become healthy again like I used to be in my past life. So I followed the Atkins diet to a T. The induction phase I was on for 3 weeks. It worked exactly as it was supposed to work. I had the water loss early on. I had the low carb flu that people talk about. It was really bad, massive headaches, really lethargic for about 3-4 days, and then I was feeling brilliant. And within the space of, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks, and it's been a few years ago now, in the space of 4 or 5 weeks I had dropped down to 85 kilos, so I lost about 10 kilos, and I hadn't done any extra exercise. I just basically followed the diet, and the weight dropped off. So this was roughly around 2010 that this all happened. Okay, so after dropping that initial weight, I maintained a healthy diet and started doing a little bit of exercise and dropped down to 82 kilos. And that's the lowest that I had been for quite a long time on that diet. So it worked really well. Once you kind of get to that target weight, the book recommends that you do this thing where you start reintroducing carbs into your diet, small portions at a time, until you get to a point where you are maintaining your weight and it's working well. Okay, so I did that, and I straight away, I knew I was going to go up weight a little bit, and I did. I got to 84, 85, and I was maintaining that really nicely for quite a long time, and just eating fairly healthily, looking after what I was doing, continuing to do a little bit of exercise, and yeah, and it was good. However, my job again, so lifestyle things, they get in the way. Again, got really busy. I was doing massive days, 10 to 12 hour days, easy, sometimes more, and I ballooned out again, this time to 91 kilos. And so the second time that I did the Atkins diet, I started at 91, so it was a much lower base, and then did the diet again, exactly the same thing, got the got the low carb flu, had the water loss in the first couple of days. I lost like 4 or 5 kilos in the first day. A lot of water was being retained, and I got back down to 82 this time. So from 91 to 82 the second time I did the Atkins diet. So it worked again. So, but obviously it's a little bit, at that point I kind of felt like it was very yo-yo. It was up and down because it works. So I dropped and then it went back up and my weight dropped again. So the diet works, but at that particular point it wasn't sustainable, right? It just was not working. And and so that brings me to my current state, which was at the start of really the end of 2016. I in some ways very fortunate to have had a motorcycle accident. Okay, so I crashed my scooter. Wasn't very good. I've never ever broken a bone, but I won't go on about what happened. But I again ballooned out to 89 kilos, I think I was this time, before I started doing any exercise. And in my mind, I kind of thought, well, I've got to do it differently. I can't keep doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing it, because I've tried it twice, it's worked twice, but it's going to happen again. So I'm not making that psychological choice, the choice in lifestyle to keep up a healthy way of living. So this brings me to today, and I wanted to just share with you what I've done different this time, because I kind of agree with a lot of people now when they say the Atkins diet doesn't work, and it's basically the induction phase. Of course, you're going to lose the weight, and I could do it again. I could go back to definitely a very low carb diet and go back to 81, maybe even 80, I reckon I could reach this time, kilos. But I know it's not going to work, because then if I slowly reintroduce the carbs, it's not going to work. So when I reintroduce any carbs into the diet, it's just going to spiral again, where I just start eating whatever I want and go, oh, it's all right, it's just a little bit of pasta, or it's just a little bit of sushi, there's some rice, it's fine, it's going to be good. And then my weight will just start to steadily go up again. So what I've done this time is I've done two things different, and I wanted to share that with you. So hopefully, maybe when it's your turn to, when you've made up your mind to do this, that you'll have a slightly different way of attacking this weight loss, healthy eating type stuff. So first thing I did was I actually read a book, and this book was The Deadly Harvest, and my mum recommended it to me, and I read it. And I don't normally read books, but I read this one, and what that really did is just primed me for thinking about what is healthy and what is it that we eat, and just question why we eat rice and why we eat pasta and why we eat potatoes and all those starchy, high carb foods. Okay, so the bottom line is that by reading this book, educating myself, sort of aligning myself with this philosophy of the paleo diet and what it kind of means and what it looks like, it kind of is working for me. I'm not doing a Paleolithic diet. I'm not doing paleo, okay? What I am doing though is thinking very carefully about why I'm eating the foods I'm eating. I don't want to get all philosophical about what paleo is, but what I've done is I've kind of made my own version of paleo diet. Okay, so it's kind of like a user-friendly paleo diet, if you would call it that. So that was the first thing I did different, is just really changed my mindset a little bit about some of those foods. The second thing I did is not ignored exercise. So in the past, I've ignored exercise as a way to losing weight. I just thought, you're not going to do it. It's not going to be sustainable. You're going to start doing it and stop again and start again and stop again. It's not going to work, and it has never worked for me. And it's probably part of the reason why it got me to 95 kilos in the first place, because I was doing little bouts of exercise, and it didn't work. So what I've done is this time around, I've made sure that exercise is at the forefront of what I'm doing as well. At the moment, it's about 2 or 3 times a week that I'm exercising, doing some aerobic based exercise. I'm hoping to get that up to 4 or 5, but at the moment it's about 2 or 3. So because I've read the book and changed my mindset a little bit, and I've not ignored exercise, those two things have now primed me to have a more sustainable way of trying to keep my weight in check and being healthy. So a couple of weeks ago, I was doing exercise and I kind of went off my diet, and just like that, in a couple of weeks, I'd say 4 weeks, I put on about, how much did I put on? Well, I got to 88, 89 kilos. So let's just say 89, because it was pretty much up there. 89 kilos. And that's because I kind of had a little break from the exercise and I went on a holiday. I wasn't eating well, and got to 89. Basically within 4 or 5 weeks of going back onto my paleo-like diet and trying to exercise again, I've now got to 84. Very quickly, boom, 84. And that's over 4 or 5 weeks. So that's where I am today, guys. At 84. I'm going to spend this time to just tell you exactly what I'm doing. Hopefully you might get something out of it. Just a couple of tips. So I'll just share with you a couple of tips of what I'm doing, and hopefully it might work for you. So number one, and like I said, I'm putting exercise at the forefront. I'm aiming to do at least a minimum of 2 sessions of hard aerobic exercise per week. So for me, I have found that going to a local gym and doing some classes has been brilliant for me. I love it. I love doing spin classes to music, and I love doing weights to music as well. So it's been a bit of a revelation for me, and I'm kind of a bit sad that I haven't discovered it earlier, but yeah, absolutely loving it at the moment. So twice a week. Lots and lots of cardio, really high intensity, working anaerobically, getting right up there for cardio. So the next thing I'm doing, guys, is I'm getting rid of a lot of things out of my diet that I think kind of starts to align with the paleo diet, but it's not quite there, but it's moving towards paleo diet. And these are the things that I'm getting rid of. So the first one is any sort of sweets, lollies, sugar, all of those, like sugar, getting rid of those out of my diet as best I can. It's not religiously getting rid of it, but it's fairly close. So like in the morning, I still have a coffee, I still have some teaspoons of sugar in it. Okay, so that's something. That's basically my only sugar that I'm eating at the moment though. There is some sugar in the sauce that I have, so tomato sauce or barbecue sauce or mustard. There's some sugar in there, and that's okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm not religiously cutting out those sorts of things from my diet, but it is a huge reduction to what I had been eating before. I am cutting out pasta, noodles, bread, anything that's like bread, so all the different breads, rice, and potatoes. So I found a really good website. I'll see if I can share with you about the difference between high carb and low carb veggies. And by getting rid of the high carb vegetables out of my diet, it's again a little bit like paleo, because I mean a lot of the stuff that's in paleo is definitely low carb. There is no bread, because as we all know, our ancestors didn't make bread. There's no rice. Our ancestors didn't start farming for rice. The potatoes had to be cooked, and so therefore it's not in the diet. And what's the other one? Oh, pasta. Well, we didn't mill wheat and do crops like that when we were cavemen. So again, another thing that wasn't around in that time. So cutting out those high carb ingredients from most meals it's been the big difference. It's allowed me to drop 5 kilos just like that. So the reason that my diet is not paleo is because I still do cooking. I still fry up some meat and different types of meat, and I eat a lot of meat, and the paleo diet did not have a lot of meat in it. There's some meat in paleo, but not a lot. So in that sense, it's not paleo. I also have some nuts. Like at the moment, I'm going through some almonds, and I'm loving almonds at the moment. But again, that did not exist in a paleo diet. One of the main difficulties that I have with sticking to a healthier way of living is with drinking, because I don't know why, but I'm not a fan of water. I drink water. If it's filtered, it's okay, but even then, I don't like water. Okay, I don't know why. It's just how it is. I like a bit of flavor. So the thing that I have been doing is drinking and please don't hurt me for this, but I've been drinking the diet drinks. Okay, so lots of Pepsi Max, Diet Coke, Coke Zero. We have a new Coke in Australia now called No Sugar or something. I haven't had that yet, but it's coming. Kirk's here in Australia also do creaming soda in a diet version, and there's a lemon one as well, a lemon squash. That's a diet. So yeah, it's doable. Now, okay, is it healthy? I don't know, but in terms of weight healthy, it definitely is. It's not going to be adding to my weight gain. It's going to help me stay on this diet and keep losing weight and being healthy. One other thing that I have been making sure that I do is to never ever skip breakfast. So the theory behind not skipping breakfast is your body's been in a fasting mode overnight while you've slept for however many hours you sleep. Let's say 7-8 hours. You wake up and your body's metabolism starts going because you're awake. Now, if you choose to skip breakfast, your body says, "Hang on a sec. There's no food. There's no the brain hasn't registered that there's any food in your stomach, and therefore your body goes into survival mode. And the survival mode slows down your system. You might pep it up with a coffee or something like that, where your brain is thinking, "Oh yeah, no, we're all good, we're all buzzy, everything's fine." But you're in survival mode, and what that does is your metabolism slows down. You're not going to feel it because you might already be coping with that sort of a feeling, but it's definitely slowed down, and your energy usage slows down. And not until you start eating later in the day does your metabolism start kicking in again to start processing the food. So the idea is to not skip breakfast. So you wake up, have something for breakfast. Doesn't matter what it is, but have something for breakfast, because your body then starts saying, "Oh yes, there's plenty of we've got energy here. We're fine. We're going to keep going. We're ready for the day. We're going to function normal." So that's one of the things that is now given. When I talked earlier about me getting up to 95 kilos, biggest mistake at that time, I was skipping breakfast most mornings. I'd have a coffee or a tea and off to work, and then I'd have another one basically when I got to work, and skipping breakfast, boy, my weight just went through the roof. So let that be a lesson, kids. Never ever skip breakfast if you want to be healthy and lose weight. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to mention is the really weird reception that I received from some people about my diet. And I get this comment a lot. I'm not sure why, but I get this comment, "Oh, you need the carbs." And I'm really confused, because where does that come from? Why do I need the carbs? Like, I don't know. There's never an answer. They just say, "Oh, you need the energy, and you need it to be healthy," but there's no actual explanation for that. And it's interesting, because I'm still getting carbs. I'm still eating carbs. There's still lots of vegetables and fruit that I'm eating that has carbs in it, but they somehow want me to eat pasta and eat rice and eat noodles, and I'm just like, why do you want me to do that? I'm not sure. So yeah, I've got a few people who have made some statements to me. So I don't think they're coming out to be mean or anything. It's just that it's so ingrained, this whole, oh, there's a pun. It's so ingrained that this whole carbohydrate thing, and and our love of bread and things like that, that it's really hard to fathom and think about doing it differently. Okay, so that's it, everybody. A bit rambly, long video, but I just thought I'd share. Hopefully you can maybe get a few things out of what I've been saying, and take that and use it for yourself. Maybe if you are like me, trying to lose weight and start to eat healthier. I feel good. I'm a bit sick at the moment with the cold, but I feel good overall. So I'll keep you guys informed of how it progresses. I'll hope to do a couple more of these videos in the next little while, just to keep sharing with you how it's all going. Well, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Say hello, make a comment. I love to have discussions in the comments below about certain things. So yeah, please say something, and I'll see if I can reply. All right, bye everyone.